Yeah.
Good.
Okay.
Shalom, Israel. Today is the Feast of Dedication. Amajim. We're going to stand. So we're going to turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Repeat after me. I will know. About Shemayim. Wadah. I.S.U.P.K. Yahweh. In the English, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. So we're going to turn face to front. Shabia, take a seat. All right, y'all clap it up. Today is a very important day for our people, as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Today is the Feast of Dedication, and this is a very, very important memorial and a feast day, because we're remembering the time of our ancestors.
Right.
As we live in this society that we live in right now, we remember everybody else's problems. We remember everybody else's victories. We remember the Alamo. We remember Pearl Harbor. We remember everything else but what has to do with us. And so now we're finna teach you about your history, about what happened with your people in the time where we had our land and how our enemies, how our enemies took it from us and what we did to get it back. What you're gonna have to learn is the true spirit of your people. And when you learn the true spirit of your people, then you'll know how to be in the right spirit. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to book of First Maccabees in the Apocrypha. And in the Apocrypha, when you read the Apocrypha, it explains all through the Bible. In the New Testament, it talks about the Greeks. But in the Old Testament, there's no form of Greeks mentioned except for Daniel's vision. And in Daniel's vision, it said that first Nebuchadnezzar was going to be the head. Then during the Persian time, there was going to be a ruler. Then the time of the Greeks. Then the time of the Romans. But we have no notation of what happened during the time of the Greeks.
Right.
Well, in the Apocrypha, it tells you all about the history of what happened during the time of the Greeks.
Right.
And so now what you're going to see is that the Bible is not just a book with stories in it. You're going to see that it is real history.
Right.
This is your history book. You understand? Read verse 1.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim and smitten Darius, king of Persians, and the king of the Persians and the Medes.
Now, this is talking about Alexander the Great. that everybody has heard of through history. You didn't know he was in the Bible.
Right.
Alexander the Great was a person who conquered Jerusalem and destroyed our nation and took our nationality from us.
Right.
Him and everybody that came after him, they started to take our nationality from us, and they made it to where if we were to claim to be Jews, they would kill us. If we were to pray to our God, they would kill us. If we was to keep our feast days and our Sabbath, they would kill us. Anything we did to remember our people and our culture, they would kill us, which lets you know how important our culture is. If our culture is not important, then why would you kill us for keeping it?
Right.
If we are nobody and we are people that's not important, you call us aliens. You say that we're immigrants and we shouldn't be here, and we're slaves and all of that. Well, if we are slaves, then why would you kill us for doing what our God tells us to do?
That's right.
Let me tell you why. Because what our oppressors know is that once we come back to serving God the way our God told us to serve him, then our God will fight with us again.
Right.
And he would be on our side. That's right. And that's what you're going to see in this story.
That's right.
Keep reading now.
That he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
Keep going.
Verse 2. And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth.
So this is Alexander's reign. He reigned for about 12 years. Read verse 7.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years.
And then what happened?
And then he died.
And then he died. That was short. He did what he did. He reigned, and then he died. And so what happened after that? Read the next verse.
Verse 8. And his servants bare rule every one in his place. Verse 9. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years.
So the people that were right under Alexander, his right-hand men, they divided the nations up into 4 parts, and they became the rulers of their land. You have Ptolemy, you have Seleucus, you have Antiochus, and you have one more.
Yeah, verse 18, sir.
Oh, it is? Okay, no, so we're gonna get to it then. Most High Christ. All right, so now let's get to what verse we're in right now?
We're at the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 8.
Read verse 10.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus.
So when the new ruler came, he was a wicked leader. That's what he was. And when you read the Bible, you have to know who he was wicked to. The reason they were saying he was wicked was because he was wicked toward us. This Bible is the book to the Israelites. So this is our records, and this is from our point of view. When you hear about America and they say all men are created equal, who are they talking about? All Americans, all white men.
Right.
Because in 1776, your ancestors were in the field.
That's right.
Picking cotton.
That's right.
So all men didn't apply to you. So when we talk about righteousness and wickedness, we're talking about how they were wicked toward us.
Right.
Keep reading.
A wicked root, Antiochus, surnamed Ephesius, son of Antiochus the king, who had been an hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the kingdom of the Greeks.
Keep going.
Verse 11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying that let us make a covenant with the heathen.
Now, there went out of our people wicked men of Israel. Now, and what did these wicked men say let's do?
Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen.
This was the wicked thing that our people did.
Right.
They said, let us go and join ourselves to the other nation.
That's right.
Go ahead.
All right, so and the person specifically they're talking about in history is Antiochus the Great, Antiochus the Third, who was known for the beginning of Hellenization, right? So this he is specifically the reason why blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were not allowed to profess themselves to be Jews or Israelites or keep any feast days. Like, he was a tyrant.
Right.
His job was strictly to whitewash the world, right? In the order of the Greeks, just like they did here in America with the Native Americans. Go ahead, sir.
That's what his job was. Keep reading.
For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Since we departed from whom? Who are we talking about we departed from? Somebody paying attention? Read it again.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 11. And in those days went there out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. From since we departed from them, where we had much sorrow.
Who were we sad we departed from? Habana?
The heathen.
The heathen. You understand? And that is where we start to fall.
Right.
When we start depending on another nation to take care of us, that's when the downfall of our nation happens.
Right.
Keep reading.
Verse 12. So this device pleased them well. Verse 13. Then certain of the people were so forward therein that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
So now they're getting deeper into the politics, and now they're going to get approval from the king to be more like the heathen.
Right.
And this angers the Lord out. This is the reason the Lord didn't want us to have a king in the first place.
That's right.
Because we start turning to the other nations and these men and depending on them and stop depending on the Most High.
That's right.
Keep reading.
Verse 14. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem, according to the customs of the heathen.
What is the place of exercise that was built? The place of exercise. The
Colosseum.
Give them a hand. The Colosseum. That's what happened. We started to play sports for them.
Right.
For their entertainment.
Right.
And we're not nothing to play with.
That's right.
We're the Lord's chosen people.
That's right.
We used to have so much valor as a people. We were so prestigious. And we didn't want to be basketball players.
Right.
We wanted to be priests.
Right.
We wanted to be men of the Lord. Now we want to play football. Now we want to run track. Now we want to be entertainment. Right. And that was such an evil thing to the Lord.
That's right.
And to the people of the Lord that understood the vices that they were doing to destroy us as a nation. Keep going.
And joined themselves, verse 15, and made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant.
Stop. How did they make themselves uncircumcised? Anybody know what circumcision is? You can't uncircumcise yourself.
Right.
So how do you make yourself uncircumcised?
Following the customs and traditions.
Give them a hand.
Nice. That's right.
Following the customs and traditions. That's how they started to act like these people.
Right.
What's that show from back in the day? Sanford and Son?
That's right.
Sanford and Son and what's her name? Esther.
Right.
Old Esther. Esther, what old Esther used to call Sanford all the time? You old heathen. Right. You old heathen. Why did she call him a heathen? Now they were the same race.
That's right.
But why did she call him a heathen? Because he didn't go to church.
Right.
Because he wasn't acting like a Christian.
Right.
Like he wasn't acting like a man of God like he should have been. Well, that's the same thing that you read in the Bible. They became uncircumcised by the way they act.
That's right.
It's the same talk. Keep going.
And joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief.
Was what?
Sold to do mischief.
Was sold to do mischief. You sell yourself every time you go out and serve another God.
That's right.
You're selling. You think it's the Illuminati that's you sell your soul with music. No, you selling your soul with sin.
Right.
Every time you go out here and follow after another nation, You are selling yourself to do mischief.
That's right.
Right.
Drop down to verse 20.
I don't kind.
Read the next one, sir. I got facts.
All right, go ahead, read that.
It's the verse 16. Now, when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he thought to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen and a great navy. Verse 18. And made war against Ptolemy, king of Egypt.
All right, so this is from the Encyclopedia Britannica. All right, Antiochus forestalled an Egyptian expedition to Palestine by invading Egypt. He defeated the Egyptians between the Palladium of Mount Cresson, and for the exception of Alexandria for the Hellenization for the capital. Ptolemy was Antiochus nephew, and Antiochus was a sister of Cleopatra the first, who married Ptolemy.
Right.
You understand? So this whole war that's going on in Egypt right now is a Greek family war.
Right.
You understand? Like, people like to think that Cleopatra was a black woman. She was not. She was a Greek. She was a white woman.
Right.
You understand? She was a sister of Antiochus and the wife of Ptolemy, which is why they were going to war. Go ahead, sir.
That's it. Drop down to verse 20.
Sorry, correct.
Khan. It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 20. After that, Antiochus had smitten Egypt. He returned again in the 143rd year and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude. Verse 21. And entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar, the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof. Verse 22. And the table of the shewbread, and the pouring vessels, and the vials, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly. Verse 25. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were.
Let me tell you what happened, man. This Greek ran into our land. This Edomite ran into our land and stole all of our precious goodly golds and jewels and our candlestick, the Torah, the gold, everything that we had. We have always had golden censers and all of that.
That's right.
And they took all of that.
That's right.
They stole it from us. And then they spoke proudly about it.
That's right.
Now, when you steal from the Israelites, who are you really stealing from? You're stealing from the Lord.
Right.
So who was he speaking proudly against?
Lord.
He wasn't speaking proudly against us. He was speaking against the Lord. And that's what people don't know about what they do to us.
That's right.
They don't know that when they touch us, they are touching God.
That's right.
They don't know that. And so they're not easily offended by touching and hurting us, because they just think we just some niggas and spicks and wetbacks, and they just think we some nobodies.
Right.
But we are the Lord's family.
That's right.
And now the Lord's children are crying to him and in mourning. Now let's see what they praying and crying and asking for.
Come, verse 25. Therefore, there was a great mourning in Israel, in every place where they were. Verse 26. So that the princes and elders mourned, the virgins and young men were made feeble, and the beautiful of women, and the beauty of women was changed.
The beauty of women was what?
Was changed.
You see what I'm saying? The more you take our culture away from us, the more we start to change into whoever conquered us.
That's right.
Right.
That's why we are so lost into American society today, because all of the beauty of who we are supposed to be was taken from us, and now we look to them for beauty.
That's right.
Now we want to wear our hair like them. We want to dress like them. We want to talk like them. We want to do everything like them because we think that's beauty.
That's right.
Because they conquered us.
That's right.
Because they defeated us.
Good night.
Keep going.
Verse 27. Every bridegroom took up his lamentation, and she that sat in the marriage chamber was in heaviness. Verse 28. The land was moved for the inhabitants thereof, and all the house of Jacob was covered with confusion.
Everybody was confused to say, why did the Lord let this happen to us?
Right.
Well, what's going on? So this is what happened. The Greeks wait about 2 years, and then they come back. Now they already destroyed us and stole everything from us. Now they come back 2 years later. Read verse 30.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 30. And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit.
Stop. Read that again.
And spake peaceable words unto them, but all was deceit.
Everything they came up there saying, hey, remember what we did last time we was here? Hey man, don't worry about that. Let bygones be bygones.
Right.
We're not coming back on that same tip. You're on something else, man. What's going on? How y'all doing? Y'all see y'all done rebuild over here.
Right.
You look good. I see it's looking nice in here.
Right.
What happened? Read that.
For when they had give him credence.
When they gave him what?
Credence.
Somebody look up credence. And I'm finna show you how evil your oppressor is.
Good night.
I'm finna show you something. This should aggravate you to watch politics. When you watch the news now and they start telling you how they're gonna come and help black people, you should know that this is credence.
That's right.
And you should know what comes after this. Read it.
This is the definition. Credence from dictionary.com. A noun, belief as to the truth of something.
Guess what? They sat there and started talking to them, and they didn't believe them at first. And as soon as we started to believe them, when we gave them credence, and we started to say, you know what, these white people may not be that bad.
Right.
Let's listen to them and see what they're talking about. What did they do?
He fell suddenly upon the city.
He did what?
Fell suddenly upon the
As
city.
soon as they put their guards down, he did what?
Fell suddenly upon the
He
city.
ran in the city and took it again. That's what he did. He's like, hey man, I know, remember last time I took your lunch money, I ain't gonna do that again. You got some more money? Let me see. Give me that money.
Right.
My money.
That's right.
That's what he did. Again. Keep reading.
And smote it very sore and destroyed much people of Israel.
Keep reading.
Verse 31. And when he had taken the spoil of the city, he set it on fire and pulled down the houses and walls thereof on every side. 32. But the women and children took they captive and possessed the cattle.
They took the women, the children, and the cattle. They killed the men, took the women, children, and cattle, and put the women in slavery. Does that sound familiar? I don't understand how you can think that we not the Jews.
Right.
We in and out of slavery like left and right.
Right.
Drop down to 38.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 38. In so much that the inhabitants of Jerusalem fled because of them, whereupon the city was made an inhabitation of strangers.
So now in the city, in our homeland, guess who stayed there? Them. They didn't ran us out the city. They didn't destroy the city so much to where we ran out of the city to find somewhere else to stay for safety. And now they in our city living. Keep going.
And became strange to those that were born in her, and her own children left her.
So now the people who was born and raised in their hood, now their hood was gentrified. Wow. Their place of living was taken over.
Right.
Now Darling is Emancipation Street.
That's right. Nice.
That's what happened.
That's true.
In the Bible. Keep going.
Verse 39, her sanctuary was laid waste like a wilderness. Her feasts were turned into mourning, her Sabbaths into reproach, her honor into contempt.
Listen, they took everything from us. They took our beauty, our honor, our pride, you know, the things that made us who we were.
Right.
They took it. Keep going.
Verse 40 has had been her glory. So was her dishonor increased, and her excellency has turned into mourning.
That's what happened to us. As much glory as we had, now we had shame. As much honor as we had, now we were just broken and torn into the same magnitude of the glory we had before that. Keep reading.
Come, verse 40. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom.
41.
41, Salakia, verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Read it again.
Verse 41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people.
Now,
That's cold.
did the Lord say all of us should be one people?
Absolutely not.
That's not what the Lord divided the nation.
That's right.
He separated the sons of Adam and he gave everybody their own land.
That's right.
But this king that conquered God's people said, you know what? Since I'm running around taking everybody's stuff, we should all be one people.
That's right.
With one king, with one ruler, and it should be me.
That's right.
Yeah. You don't stand a chance against me. I keep beating you up.
Right.
You might as well be my people.
Right.
Keep reading.
Come, verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws.
See, they had their own laws, and we had our own laws. Now the king is saying, no, everybody should leave their laws, and what else?
So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
His people was like, that sounds good to me. I'm tired of seeing these people tell me they don't eat pork too.
Right.
I'm tired of hearing about they don't celebrate this too.
Right.
They should just go ahead and we all come together and be one people.
Right.
Keep reading.
Come, verse 43. Yea, many also of the Israelites,
Many of the who?
also of the Israelites
Go ahead.
consented to his religion.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
and sacrifice unto idols and profane the Sabbath. Verse 44, for the king has sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and to the cities of Judea that all should follow the strange laws of the land.
That's what's happening. Right. So what's happening is he is changing our culture and making us follow his people. And now he's putting us as second and third and fourth and fifth class citizens.
Right.
We went from being independent, from having our own land, our own businesses, our own everything, our own laws. And he said, now I want you to follow my laws, my culture, and now this is my land.
That's right.
Go ahead, Habana.
So like I said, if I could, around what time was this again?
This is during the time of the Greeks. So this is before the Roman.
I can give you a year, sir.
Give me a year.
It's 242 BCE. That's when he died.
BCE. So if I could, so I mean, this is literally the same exact captivity that we the same exact thing.
Yeah,
That's
it's the
right.
exact same thing.
Good night.
If I could, sir.
Go ahead.
What Antiochus did to the Jews, the Hellenization of the Jews, is exactly what America did to the Native Americans. It's the exact same thing.
Right.
So they put the Native American children in boarding schools and made it where they couldn't speak their tongue, they couldn't keep their culture, because if you take the children's mind, you erase the culture.
Right.
You understand? So that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did during the Greco-Roman Empire. You understand? You cut off the head and you take the body.
That's right.
You understand? So they killed off all of the men, they implanted their seeds and raped the women, and they took the children and put their culture in their mind.
Right.
So erase them from history.
Right.
Keep reading.
Come, verse 45. And forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbath and festival days.
How many of you this is your first time doing the Feast of Dedication? Raise your hand. This is why. You just read why. You are reading why you wasn't raised keeping this feast day. Because they made it unlawful for you to keep it.
Right.
That's right.
That's what they said. They said in order to be an American, you can't be an American and a Jew.
Damn.
In order for you to be a Greek, you can't be a Greek and a Jew.
Right.
So you got to pick which one you're going to be. And watch what started happening when they started to fight it. Go ahead.
Verse 40.
I got some material for me to read it on the side.
Go ahead.
Khan. This is from the Hellenistic.
Give him the mic.
This is from the Hellenistic civilization of the Jews. Hellenism was not introduced into Israel by the forces of the outside of the Jewish public itself, probably attached by alien customs because of the eager Hellenistics of the elders. Now, if the aspirations of the Hellenization arose from among the Jews as a result of the internal development of Jewish history, it devolves upon the investigation factor, which led to the part of the Jewish community to develop the actual Hellenization. And we have to ask, first of all, what was the motive of those who inclined the direction of the people to move to a Hellenistic race, observed by the Greeks. Moving down. In fact, that it was the leaders of the Jews who introduced the Hellenization to the Jewish people.
It was the leader of who?
Of the Jews.
It was the leader of the Greeks.
Of the Jews.
Thank you, Martin Luther King.
That's right.
Thank you, Al Sharpton.
Right.
We so appreciate it. Now, we don't even know who we are.
Right.
We've been fighting for rights. Dogs get rights before black people.
Right.
You know, the gay people got more rights than the black man in America. You know that, right? Am I lying? Good.
Right.
You know, they got a community. It's the LGBT LMNOP community.
Right. Better not miss it.
And you better not say nothing about it. This video gonna get flagged just because I mentioned it. You know it.
Right.
And black people been marching in the streets, getting sprayed by water hose, getting ate by dogs, and we still don't have no rights.
Right.
Our rights is by word alone.
Yep.
Peaceable words.
Right.
Yeah, they used LeBron James back in the
Good time.
day. They used the Michael Jordan.
Right. Keep reading.
Verse 46. Khan. And pollute the sanctuary and holy people.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 47. Set up altars and groves and chapels of idols and sacrifice swine's flesh.
Stop. I know this is gonna hurt your feelings.
Come on now.
This is gonna hurt you.
Come on, okay.
Well, the altars and the chapels that's set up in your community.
Good. Nice.
The church. You know how I know it's the church? After church. What they serving in the back? After church, what you eat? Catfish. What else? Crawfish ball. Ham.
That's right.
Hog maw. They are having pig feet are served in the house of God. They are serving swine flesh in the holy place. But the problem is, it's not the holy place.
Right.
It's an altar that's set up for another God.
Right.
The Lord said, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy.
That's right.
But you go to church on Sunday. That is sun God worship,
Right.
not the worship of the God of the Bible.
Right.
And the only reason you don't know this is because no one ever taught us this.
Right.
Nobody taught us the Bible. They taught us religion.
Right.
If we just open this book up and read it, everything we need is right here in it.
Right.
Keep going now.
Khan. And sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts. Verse 48. That they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanliness and profanation.
So what they want you to do is be dirty, unclean, wicked people.
Dang.
To the Lord.
Right.
Because being circumcised was only important to who? to the Jews. Why? Somebody raise your hand. Sis? Yes, but it was it was something more specific to the law. Abon? Give them a hand. It was a covenant. It was an agreement we made with the Lord to do for our generations forever and ever and ever. So that's why they told us to stop doing it, to break our covenant with God. Keep reading.
Verse 49. To the end they might forget the law.
That they might what?
Forget the law.
Did it work? Yes, it worked. What they did all these years ago, it worked, because now in those altars, in those groves that was set up, they teach you that the law is done away with.
That's right.
That's what they teach you every week, every day, every Wednesday in Bible study. Read.
And change all the ordinances. Verse 50. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die.
He should live.
He should die.
He had freedom of religion.
He should die.
You should die. You should die if you don't do what we tell you to do. Now that's how we became who we are today. Not knowing. Read verse 52.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 52. Then many of the people were gathered unto him, to wit everyone that forsook the law. And so they committed evils in the land.
Keep going.
Verse 53. And drove the Israelites into secret places, even whosoever they could flee for succor.
For safety. They were running for safety. Right. And if you didn't change to the way of the Greeks, they kill you. So now we running out the city. They going city to city, finding out what you eat this pork.
Right.
Like, I never eat pork. Kill them. And now you on the run.
That's nice.
Now you on the run. Drop down to 56.
The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 56. And when they had rent in pieces the books of the law.
They took our book of the law and did what?
Rent in pieces.
Go ahead.
The book of the law, which they found. They burnt them with fire.
They did what?
Burnt them with fire.
Now, why are they doing this? If we got freedom of religion, you want us to be one people. Why we can't come over there as one people and serve our God and you serve your God?
Right.
Because you can't serve a God that wants you to have supremacy over them.
That's right.
The God of the Bible don't want you to be equal with them.
Right.
He wants you to rule the earth.
That's right.
And you can't do that and be around them. You can't serve that God. Because if you really serve that God, you will never do their drugs.
Right.
You will never kill your own brother.
Right.
You will never steal from your own brother.
Right.
Because you understand what it takes to get the kingdom.
That's right.
And in order to get kingdom and the rulership, you gotta keep your law.
That's right.
So what do? They take your law and they throw it away.
Right.
Keep reading.
Verse 57.
Hold on, you had a point you want to bring out? Okay, no sweat. Go ahead.
Verse 57. And whosoever was found with any of the book of the testament or of any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death.
Guess what? They did the same thing to us in slavery.
That's right.
They find you read the Bible, they put your eyes out.
That's right.
Tell me another people this happened to. Nobody else.
That's right.
But you're gonna tell us we not these people?
Right.
We reading our life in 2021 right now, and this happened in BC.
That's right.
And it's a never-ending cycle. The scripture says there is no new thing. There is nothing new under the sun.
That's right, Cap.
It keeps happening over and over and over again. Why? Because we don't know history.
Right.
So now we're what? No. What you gonna say? Give them a hand. If we don't know history, it's easy for us to repeat it. If we don't know that we're repeating it.
Right.
To us, it's the first time it ever happened. Right. Keep going.
Verse 58. Thus did they by their own authority unto the Israelites every month to as many as were found in the cities.
Stop. They did it by who authority?
Did it unto their authority.
Their own authority. They did this. They started to take leisure and just go out in the middle of the night and just come and hunt you.
That's right.
Like the KKK.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just like now, it was the same back then. They had house niggas and field niggas.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The field niggas wanted to keep the law, statutes, and commandments, and the house niggas would snitch on them and turn them over.
Right.
Because the beginning of the Hellenization didn't start from the Greeks enforcing upon us. It started from the higher class of the Jews forcing it upon the lower class of the Jews.
Right.
So you had street niggas against industry niggas.
Right.
Industry, right.
Come.
Give them a hand. That's Officer 5,000.
That's right.
Okay. You see, y'all. Keep going.
Now the 5 and 20th day, in the 5 and 20th day of the month, they did sacrifice unto the idol altar, which was upon the altar of the power. Verse 60. At which time, according to the commandment, they put to death certain women.
They did what?
Put to death certain women.
Why?
That had caused their children to be circumcised.
You circumcised that baby? See all these precious babies in here? Well, if a white man came in here and saw that your baby was circumcised, he would kill your baby.
Right.
He would kill your child for you keeping your family custom. Keep going.
Verse 61, and they hang the infants about their necks.
Imagine seeing little babies hung by their necks. Right?
Wow.
And this is being done by the same people that's been hanging us by our necks today.
Right.
It's the same exact people doing it. It'll be different if this was the Chinese people doing it to them and then white people do it to us now. It's white people that's doing this now in the scripture and still to this day.
That's right.
Keep going.
And rifled their houses and slew them that had circumcised them. Verse 62, howbeit many in Israel were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
As people was dying, it was a group of people that said what? They will do what?
They were resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing.
It was some people that were seeing the death and seeing how they were being killed, and they said, I don't care, I'm not doing it. And that's why we're remembering them right now. Because by them, they held on to what we have right now.
That's right.
If everybody would have folded, then this would have died with everybody that folded.
Right.
But because there was a group of people that held on to it, we can now, thousands of years later, read about it.
That's right.
Keep going.
Verse 63. Wherefore, the rather to die, that they might be defiled with meats, and that they might not profane the holy covenant. So then they died.
That's what they don't want us to get back in our people.
Right.
They don't want us to get a people that's willing to die.
That's right.
You know what? They make you afraid to die.
That's right.
They make it to where now your life, you only live once. So live your life to the max.
Oh, good night.
Live your life to the fullest. You don't want to die over this. You don't want to. You still got a bucket list you got to do.
That's right.
You want to jump out the airplane. You ain't gonna get to do it.
Right.
You ain't gonna get to do it if you don't go ahead and eat this pork.
Right.
Because we gonna kill you.
Right.
You have to be a doormat to survive here.
Yeah.
You have to be spineless with no backbone in order to survive here. Because if you say you want a job and you got a beard, they're gonna tell you can't work here.
Right.
You can't have a beard. You can't be a man and work here.
Right.
I gotta be a baby.
Right.
I gotta be baby face.
Right.
Is that what you're saying? The only way I can work here is if I look like a little kid. Yeah, because that's not intimidating to you.
That's
Right.
That's not intimidating to our oppressor. He wants you to look like a child because he is a child molester. And he wants you to look like what he likes.
Good night.
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead, huh?
If I could, and like I brought this out in history class, like this nation is founded by the same people that rule the other world. They are pirates in search of booty. That's it.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? They are sodomites. You understand?
That's
In
true.
any way that they can haul you out,
Yeah, that's true.
they're gonna do it.
Right.
Period. You understand? All they do is rape and pillage culture. You
Right.
understand? That's why they the last of the Mohicans. You understand? They the last samurai.
Right.
They the gods of Egypt.
Right.
They a Hebrew name, Ben-Hur, good name.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah.
So all they do is rape your culture and take it from it. They are a culture of rapists, bandits, and sodomites. That's it.
That's right.
Go ahead, Yala.
The water, and which is more the reason. Which is more the reason why we should gather together, like the scriptures say, because like you brought out earlier, Cap, they sent out a decree to the neighboring cities. So you know, our people like get rich, get some money, they want to leave out, go wherever. Well, those laws that are here in Houston, they passed them in Pasadena, they passed them in Tomball,
Right.
and so they passed them in Galveston.
Right.
So wherever you run, it's the same laws that's going to bind you. The only way to do it is for us to come together as a nation and fight, be willing to die.
That's
Yeah,
right.
man.
That's right.
You gotta be willing to die. This is a concept that's not taught anywhere but in here. But you have to be willing to die to live.
Right.
That's the only way you're gonna live is if you're willing to die. That's it. Go to chapter 2. We're gonna start at verse 7. Now we're finna go to Mattathias. Mattathias is the hero in this. Him and his sons.
That's right.
He got 5 sons, and these brothers was hardcore. They were no cowards.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Now we're gonna start at verse 7. Go ahead.
It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 7. He said, "Woe is me! Wherefore was I born to see this misery of my people
Right.
and of the holy city, and to dwell there, when it was delivered unto the hand of the enemy,
The hand of our friends.
into the hand of the enemy,
Go ahead.
and the sanctuary unto the hand of strangers."
Let me tell you something. He was like, Lord, why did you let me be born in this time to
Good
see the
night.
downfall of my people? Like, why me? I don't want to see this. Keep going.
Verse 8. Her temple is become as a man without glory.
Go ahead.
Verse 9. Her glorious vessels were carried away into captivity. Her infants are slain in the streets. Her young men with the sword of the enemy.
That's what we listen, man. Come on.
That's
I mean, the abortion rate is
right.
genocide
Right.
now. Our babies are being slain right now, and by the sword. The sword today is the pistol.
Right.
How many brothers are dying in the street by the hand of the sword?
Right.
That's everybody. We all getting locked up, put in jail, killed. You know what I'm saying? We're being destroyed, huh? And this brother, he's hurt. He's hurt from seeing his people go through this. Go ahead.
Okay. It's the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10. What nation had not a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
Let me tell you something. Read.
Right.
Drop down to verse 17. Let's get
It's
to
the
the
book
good
of
part.
First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 17. Then answered the king's officers and said to the Mattathias, said to Mattathias on this wise, unto thou art a ruler and an honorable and great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren.
See, he done messed up now.
Right.
He done messed up.
Right.
He done pulled up on one of the real ones.
Right.
He done found somebody that was one West,
Real talk.
and he trying to butter him up.
Real talk.
He said, "You're an honorable, strong man. You're very prominent out here in this community. You've been made strong with sons.
That's right.
Look at these good, nice boys you got out here."
Real talk.
Keep reading.
Verse 18. Now therefore came thou first.
No, read that again.
Verse 18. Now therefore come thou first.
He said, "Now come first. Since you such an honorable, prominent man in your community, you come first." Go ahead.
And fulfill the king's commandment.
Go ahead.
like as all the heathen have done.
Uh-huh.
Yea, and the men of Judah also.
He said, come do like the heathen and your brothers. Some of your brothers came and joined me. So you come do what they did. Go ahead, Zanzibar.
And Salaki shirt, and this literally lines up what it said in Encyclopedia Britannica. Like that was his tactic. He didn't come to the common folk. He would go to the rulers of the different nations to incite them first.
Right.
Because if you take the head, the body gonna follow. Because everybody want to be like LeBron. Right. Everybody want to be like Michael Jordan. Back in the day, everybody wanted to be like Janet Jackson. And today, Beyonce. Right. So if the rules in Israel, if they doing it, they were like, oh, it's cool to do this. We're gonna be like them. You know what I'm saying? So that's why he came to Mattathias the way because he was the head honcho in charge. He was the HNIC. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Dawah.
Come on, throw out, sir. And they play that same game as today. Margaret Sanger, who started abortion, she went to all the heads and the leaders of the black community and got them to do it.
That's right.
And if black people see their leader doing it, they're gonna fall right behind.
That's exactly right. That's why you gotta pick. You have to pick good leaders.
That's right.
You understand? And the leaders that we've been picking is the reason we're in the position we're in.
Right.
We voted our demise into existence. Everybody we asked for, we got them. Except for Donald Trump. But everybody else you asked for, you know why what's his name? Obama? Obama, everybody asked for Obama, huh? What he legalized? Homosexuality. He brought it all the way in. He opened the gates. Now it's raining men. You understand? He opened the gates all the way up.
Nothing but Wayman.
Yeah, all the Waymans are out. Now the closet, they tore down the closet. Everybody out the closet now. Thanks to Obama.
Right.
Everybody you asked for, you had a weed smoking, saxophone playing Bill Clinton, and he got your kids locked up on the 3-strike rule.
That's right.
The crime bill. That's what he did.
And Biden signed the bill.
And Joe Biden, your president right now, he done been in every office for the past 50 years.
Right.
He been behind the scenes signing off on everything, and you prayed for him.
Right.
Lord, Donald Trump was the worst thing that ever happened. Lord, just give us Joe, Lord.
Money bag.
Give us Joe. And the Lord said, okay.
Money bag Joe.
Go ahead. Now, Joe Biden is your president, and then you got Pearls and Chucks.
Pearls and Chucks.
Pearls and Chucks, I ain't heard from her since she signed her paper.
Right.
She ain't done no press conferences. She just hiding in office, and she just gonna go down as the first woman president. That's all she want to do. Vice President, go ahead.
If I could, sir, we voted in Joe Biden. Joe Biden did nothing for us.
Yeah.
Asians didn't vote at all, and they got an Asian crime bill.
Damn.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was all a joke from the beginning. So like,
Give him a hand. That's the truth. Keep reading. Verse 18.
Yea, and the men of Judea also,
Go ahead.
and such as remain at Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
So shall thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends.
The king's what?
Of the king's friends.
He was like, man, if you go ahead and step up and let everybody to know to follow us, you're going to be one of the king's friends.
That's right.
Keep going.
And thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold.
Keep going.
And many rewards.
And many rewards. Now let's see. Now, guess what gold they was gonna give us? You can't guess.
Our gold.
The gold they took from us. That's what they gonna do. That is your oppressor. He steal your stuff. He steal your flat screen, and then say, "I got a flat screen for sale."
Right.
You know, for you, I'm gonna give it to you 50% off.
Damn.
Because it's yours.
Right.
That's why he giving you your stuff back and he taxing you for it.
Yeah, right.
Now read what Mattathias said.
Verse 19, Khan. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice.
No, he whispered it.
And spake with a loud voice.
He didn't want to upset nobody.
And spake with a loud voice through all the nations that are under the king's dominion, obey him, and fall away every one from the religion of their fathers, and gave consent to his commandments. Verse 20, yet I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers.
Give him a hand.
That's right.
That's what he said. Say, me and my brothers and my sons, we keep our father's covenant.
That's right.
We not flaky.
That's right.
Keep reading.
Khan, verse 21. God forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances.
Keep reading.
Verse 22. We will not hearken to the king's word.
No, we gonna vote.
We will not hearken to the king's words.
Keep going.
Khan, to go from our religion, neither on the right hand or the left.
He said we not swaying to the right or the left
That's
side.
right.
That's what he said. To the king's right hand man.
Right.
Now read verse 24.
Khan is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 24. Which thing, when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his son and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to shew his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar.
Listen, the king's right hand man, he said something that Mattathias wasn't cool with. He couldn't hold himself no more. He was holding on to that horse, the reins of that horse. He jumped off that horse and killed him right there in front of everybody.
Right.
Keep going.
Khan, verse 25. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice.
And while he was up there, there was somebody else up there too. He went on here and knocked off. Go ahead.
Khan, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down.
Go ahead.
Verse 26. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of the power, like as Phineas did unto Zarbai, the son of Salmon. Verse 27. And Mattathias cried throughout the city with a loud voice, saying, whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaining the covenant, let him follow me.
What did he say?
Come on.
Whosoever is zealous of the law and maintaining the covenant, let him follow me.
What he said was, listen, if you down with this lifestyle that we about to get into, follow me. Because you know what he understood about what he was doing? It was war.
Right.
And that's what we're going to have to be ready to do to take our people back. We're going to have to be willing to go to war. We're going to have to stand up to to do what's right and tell anybody that's doing what's wrong, we're not allowing it.
That's right.
You understand? That's war. For a society that, imagine everybody smokes, and you the one in the family saying don't smoke.
That's right.
They look at you like, I don't want him around. I don't want to talk to him. I don't like him. Why is he here? He's a party poo. Every time he come around, he always with that old no smoking stuff. Like, you lame. And that's the war you got to fight, huh? Right. You say you believe, everybody believe in God until you start telling them to stop doing something they want to do.
That's right.
Everybody love the Lord until you tell them to put that thing down that they love so much. Right. Nobody's willing to make a sacrifice. Well, Mattathias and the people that follow him, they knew that they were about to have to sacrifice everything. Right. And that's what you're going to have to be willing to do to get out of this hell. Everything could be everything. Friends, family, loved ones, jobs, everything. You have to be willing to stand with the Lord and against the world. The scripture said, be in the world, but don't be of the world.
That's right.
And that's what we have to do. We got to make sure that when they pass laws to do things that the Bible says is against, we have to stand with the Bible against their laws.
Right.
Homosexuality is legal in the United States, but we have to go out in the street and say God hates it. And people hate us for saying what God says. But that's how it's always been. The men of the Lord get persecuted for righteousness. We're not getting persecuted for doing when we were doing evil, everybody loved us.
Right. Right.
But as soon as you start doing what's right, now it's like, ugh. Why? Because now I can tell you what to do because I'm living it.
That's right.
And you don't want me to be able to have a voice. Go ahead.
Like if I could, this story is so important because it shows how important that righteous leadership is for Black, Hispanic, and Native American people. You understand what I'm saying? This brother had the zeal of the Most High, which is only the Spirit of the Lord or the Spirit of Christ, man. You understand? And this brother told the children of Israel, as every priest and prophet of the Lord has in times past, either you're going to do what the world does, you're going to stay out there. But if you're going to do what the Lord say, you're going to come follow me and get inside this camp, man.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And the man today is the commanding general YAHANNA. We can give that brother a hand because that brother has proven not to compromise Black, Hispanic, and Native American people. He's not going to take a bribe. He's not going to take the money, man. You understand? He shows Black, Hispanic, and Native American people that he loves them through his zeal of keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. And he's been doing it for almost 30 years, man. It's a lot, sir.
That's right. And let me tell you one thing about that. And that's so important to understand because the Lord changed it not.
That's right.
And the Lord ain't talking to all of us.
That's right.
The same way when Moses was in the wilderness, he wasn't talking to all the Israelites.
That's right.
He was talking to Moses.
That's right.
And when the people said, well, we want to talk to God too, when they heard him, he was like, no, you got it.
Right.
Let him talk to you. Because they were afraid of the Lord.
That's right.
You don't want the burden of being a leader of the nation.
That's right.
Just be a follower.
That's right.
Just follow the man the Lord chose.
That's right.
You understand? And when you do that, all you got to do is just get in line.
That's right.
That's easy.
That's
I can
right.
do that. I don't want the burden of being in charge and having to deal with the Lord.
That's right.
And
Go ahead.
if I could, like the easiest thing and the hardest thing is to simply follow orders, sir.
That's
That's
right.
it, man.
You got one simple choice: either say Khan or La.
Right.
But the hardest thing is you got to realize, in order to be the man, you got to realize you ain't the man.
That's
You
right.
know what I'm saying? It takes a man to stand and cheer while other man stars. You feel me?
That's right.
You understand? It's all about brotherhood in the Israelite School of Universal Practice. Now,
That's right.
That's right. Now drop down to verse 32. Let me tell you what happened in between that. So when Mattathias said that, he said, if you're going to follow me. And if not, do your own thing. So now they started to get chased into the wilderness. And they were getting chased by a big by a multitude, by a big army, right? Drop down to 32.
Khan, it's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 32. They pursued after them a great number, and having overtaken them, they camped against them and made war against them on the Sabbath day.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is what now they playing dirty.
Right.
So now let me tell you what they doing. They know on the Sabbath day we're not supposed to work. We're not supposed to do anything, right? So what they're trying to do is trip us up by fighting us on the Sabbath day.
Right.
But they don't understand the spirit of the law. These brothers that was going to war here, that died on the Sabbath day, they understood the letter of the law. They just read it, but they didn't understand the spirit that was behind it. I'm finna show it to you. Keep reading.
Khan. This book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 33. And they said unto them, let that which ye have done herethrough suffice. Come forward and do according to the commandment of the king, and ye shall live.
Go ahead.
Verse 34. But they said, we will not come forward, neither will we do the king's commandment to profane the Sabbath day.
Keep going.
Verse 35. So then they gave them the battle with all speed.
He came running in full speed on them. Go ahead.
Verse 36. Howbeit they answered them not, neither cast they a stone at them.
Listen, man, let me tell you something. The Christian church that taught you. The Christian church that taught you to just turn the other cheek.
Right.
You turn the other cheek against the people you're not supposed to turn the other cheek against.
That's right.
And the people you're supposed to turn the other cheek are the ones you fight.
That's right.
If I could, son.
Go ahead.
These also the figs, the fake Israelite groups that say you're not even supposed to turn on the light on the Sabbath.
Oh yeah. Well, they didn't turn on no light. Let's see what got turned on them. Read that.
Neither cast they a stone at them, nor stop the places where they lay hid.
Mm-hmm. What they say?
Verse 37. But said, let us die, all and are in innocency.
Innocent.
Innocency.
Mm-hmm.
Heaven and earth will testify for us.
He said, we gonna let Jesus take the wheel. That's what they said. He said, we're not gonna fight back. We're just gonna let him take the wheel. And the earth and the heaven gonna know that we died in righteousness.
That's Jim Jones.
We can't fight back. Mattathias and them sitting back in the corner looking like, oh,
Yeah.
getting beat up out there. Yeah. Out there getting loved.
Right.
Keep reading.
Heaven and earth will testify for us
Go ahead.
that ye put us to death wrongfully.
Keep going.
Verse 38. So they rose up against them in battle on the Sabbath, and they slew them with their wives and children and their cattle, to the number of 1,000 people.
Let me tell you something. If you're not following the right people, that could be your life.
Right.
You can be fighting with the wrong crew and die. They gonna give you the wrong counsel.
Right.
They gonna tell you, hey, they coming to kill us. Everybody just close your eyes and accept all the bullets.
Right.
And the Lord will fight our battle.
Right.
Okay, let's see what Mattathias, a man of the Lord, said to do.
That's right.
Let's see what he said.
Verse 39. Now, when Mattathias and his friends understood thereof, they mourned for them right sore.
And said what?
Verse 40. And one of them said to another, if we do as our brethren have done, and fight not for our lives and laws against the heathen, they will now quickly root us out of the earth.
He said, if we don't fight, there ain't gonna be no more of us left.
Right.
We gotta fight. Keep going.
Colonel Khan. Verse 41. At that time, therefore, they decreed, saying, whosoever shall come to make battle with us on the Sabbath day, we will fight against him. Neither will we die all, as our brethren that were murdered in the secret places.
Keep going.
Verse 42. Then came unto him a company of Assyrians, who were mighty men of Israel. Even all such were voluntarily devoted unto the law.
Now, it's brothers that start to come and join Mattathias now.
Right.
It's brothers that see that they about fighting and seeing they not gonna die, and they saying, you know what? We gonna come fight with you. Oh, okay. Oh, so y'all ain't gonna die like the other boys did last week.
Right.
Y'all gonna fight themselves. Yeah, that's what we said too. We said if they come over here with that, we got something for them.
That's right.
And this is what they did. They got together with their brothers and they fought together. And go ahead.
Verse 34. Also, all that were fled from persecution joined themselves unto them. And, verse 43. And were a stay unto them. Verse
44. Go ahead.
Verse 44. So they joined their forces and smote simple men in their anger, and wicked men in their wrath. But the rest fled to the heathen for succor.
They beat them up, destroyed them, but then you had them ones, them token ones that ran to the heathen for safety. And let me tell you something. That's what this is all about. It's either who gonna stand and fight with your people, or you gonna run to the heathen for safety. Right. And you can't run to them for safety because the Lord is against them. You are running to the arrow when you run over there.
Right.
You are running toward the bullet when you run to them, because that's where the Lord is aiming his guns.
That's right.
See, they looking at us and they saying they ain't got no guns. We've been prepping for 40 years. We got tanks and bullets all the way to the roof. We ready for whatever they gonna do. What they don't know is the Lord been prepping since Cain and Abel.
Right.
He's been waiting on the day of judgment. He's been waiting on the day he can get you back for the crimes you've committed against us.
Right.
And you looking at us like we just a feeble people that ain't got no help. But what you don't know is we got the biggest, greatest help on this earth, which is the Most High power. And all he wants from us is our obedience. That's it. He wants our obedience. And he sent his son to die for us, to give us an opportunity to live when we should have died.
Right.
We should have died for our own sins. The things we've done, we deserve death for it. We're supposed to die the first time we missed the Passover.
Right.
We were supposed to die.
Right.
And the Lord was like, we're going to give him a chance. And the Lord sent the best of us to die for the worst of us.
Right.
He sent the token son down here to die for the son that ain't never been about nothing. And that's me. That's you.
Right.
That's all of us.
That's right.
We got an opportunity to live because our king died. Now he didn't clean our credit score up. Now we all in the 800s and we gonna go back out there and mess it up again on grace. That's what we gonna do. We gonna take this credit score and say, well, I mean, you know, his grace is sufficient.
That's right.
His grace, his mercy. Well, grace and mercy runs out. You got what, a 30-day period on the great on your car note, huh?
Right.
And they coming to pick it up.
That's right, guys.
Well, the Lord coming to get you.
That's right.
He's gonna repossess you.
That's right.
Into the reincarnation.
Right.
You're gonna be in the earth with the worms.
That's right.
Go ahead.
I was about to say, they think they covered in the blood, they're gonna be covered in blood.
Right. That's exactly what's gonna happen. Go ahead. Go ahead. My bad.
No sweat. And one of the things that they neglect is like how you brought out so eloquently that the Lord sacrificed his son. I mean, Christ referenced David. I mean, is it unlawful to do a good thing on the Sabbath?
That's right.
I mean, is it unlawful to save your life
Good.
from getting shot down
That's right.
in the street like a dog on the Sabbath? Is it unlawful to save your wife's life, your child's life, your brother's life, you know what I'm saying, your sister's life on the Sabbath?
Right.
Like, good night, man.
That's right.
Go ahead, Abner.
And so, like, if I could too, the same, like what you read about them fleeing to the heathen, that's the same thing our people doing when they go into the white man military and the police force. They're doing the same exact thing, and the Lord gonna deal with you because he coming for them.
That's
You
right.
think you right, you get protection from the military. Right. You think you good. The Lord, they building a space force, all that. Don't worry about it. The Lord gonna make sure he take care of them.
That's right.
Yeah, you joining the army that Christ coming to kill.
That's right.
Golly, I mean that's not wise.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Hold on, we got a lot to read. We want to get through it. Let me. I'm finna skip through all this. Let me drop down to verse 61. So now Mattathias is about to die, the father with the 5 sons who was leading this voyage. He about to die, and listen to what he said. If there were more fathers in the house to tell their sons this, then listen, we would be in a better predicament as a nation.
Talk to him, Cap.
Read that.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 2, verse 61. And thus considered ye throughout all ages that none that put their trust in him shall be overcome.
You got to consider that if the Lord is with you, who can be against you?
That's right.
You got to always remember that. And we say that so loosely because of Christianity have used it and wore it out. Dang. But you have to really understand, if you got the Lord on your side, you shouldn't fear nobody.
That's right.
Keep reading.
Verse 62. Fear not then the words of a sinful man.
Don't fear the words of a sinful man. Why?
For his glory shall be dung and worms.
You know what his glory is going to be? His death.
That's right.
Everybody that got something to say about us,
that's right.
They talk about us.
That's right.
You ain't got to worry about it because they talking against God's child.
That's right.
You gonna hear about them on the news.
That's right.
Keep reading.
Verse 63. Today he shall be lifted up. Tomorrow he shall not be found.
Today he's popular and everybody's listening to him. Tomorrow they're gonna be like, you heard from YAHANNA?
That's right.
I ain't seen him in a week. I smell something over there, but I don't know what it was. I ain't go over there. Keep reading.
Because he is returned unto his dust.
Because he's going back to where he come from. the dirt.
That's right.
Keep going.
And his thought is come to nothing.
The thought he had about destroying you and talking down on you is come to nothing now because he's gone.
That's right.
Keep going.
Verse 64. Wherefore, ye, my sons, be valiant and shew yourselves men in the behalf of the law. For by it shall ye obtain glory.
Listen what he said. He said, sons, be strong and courageous and keep the Lord's law, because through that you're going to get glory. We understand that we follow Christ, and following Christ is following the laws.
That's right.
Let me tell you why I know that. Because Christ wasn't reading out the New Testament.
Right.
Every scripture Christ quoted came from the Old Testament.
That's right.
All of them.
That's right.
He walked with Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
That's right.
So he wasn't pulling the scriptures from there. He was pulling scriptures from Isaiah.
That's right.
And Jeremiah.
That's right.
You understand? And Ezekiel. That's what he was referring to. So if you're going to live like Christ, if you're going to be Christ-like, you got to keep the laws.
That's right.
That's what you have to do. Or you're making Christ's death. You're stepping on it.
That's right.
You're making it nothing. Let's skip over to chapter 4.
Okay. Thought it was.
Start at 52.
Okay.
It's a lot of good stuff. If y'all get some
Right.
free time, y'all read this. But it's a lot of good stuff in this.
That's right. It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52.
So let me catch you up to what's going on. They were running through the city, going to war with everybody,
right,
and defeating them. And they were beating armies that were way larger than them. And every time they get to the battle, they would get afraid. And Judas Maccabees, the son of Mattathias, they would pray to the Most High. And I wish I could go through one of them. But every prayer that they sent to the Lord was that the Lord destroy their enemy.
That's right.
Every prayer they sent up was not for peace. It was to hear our prayers against them so that we can defeat them.
That's right. And
they went into the city and took the city over and over and over again. And now they back at their gates. Right. Now they back at their home gates. And now you're going to look at what they saw when they came into their city. Read that.
I'm kind. It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52. Now on the 5th and 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of Cassius.
Start at verse 30. What time is it? Yeah, we got time. Yeah, this is perfect. Go ahead. Read. Start at verse 30.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 30. And when he saw that mighty army, he prayed and said, Blessed art thou, O Savior of Israel, who didst swell the violence of the mighty man by the hand of thy servant David, and gavest the host of strangers unto the hand of Jonathan, the son of Saul, and his armor bearer. Verse 31, shut up this army in the hand of thy people Israel.
What did he say? Let's all come together and join hands and love each other?
Shut up this army in the hand of thy people Israel.
Go ahead.
And let them be confounded in their power and horsemen.
Keep going.
Verse 32, make them to be of no courage, and cause the boldness of their strength to fall away, and let them quake at their destruction.
And that's what he prayed for. He prayed that the Lord let them be destroyed in this battle. How many times have you prayed for your enemies to be destroyed? I'm not talking about Duntrail. I'm not talking about Lakeisha.
That's right.
I'm not talking about the enemy that you make.
That's
I'm talking about the enemy that's been your enemy since the womb.
That's right.
I'm talking about the other nations.
That's right.
You ain't never prayed. See, when you pray, the scriptures say, thy will be done.
That's right.
That's what it, like, when you pray, you should pray for the Lord's will to be done, not yours.
Right.
But every time you praying, it's for your will.
Right.
It's so you can get what you want, not the Lord. He's praying in the spirit of what the Lord wants because he know the Lord wants them to rule.
That's right.
He wants these heathens out of the land. The problem was it was too many people that was weak and under following the heathen.
That's right.
So now they are proving to the Lord that they were not weak under following the heathen.
That's right.
Read verse 36.
This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 36. Now said Judas and his brethren, behold, our enemies are discomforted. Let us go up to cleanse and desolate the dedicate the sanctuary. Verse 37. Upon this all the hosts assembled themselves together and went up into Sion, Mount Sion.
Right.
Verse 38. And when they saw the sanctuary desolate, and the altar profane, and the gates burned up, and the shrubs growing in the courts as in a forest, or in one of the mountains, yea, the priests' chambers pulled down. Verse 39. They rent their clothes and made great lamentation and cast ashes upon their heads.
When they walked through the city and saw the condition that the city was in, it broke them. It broke them. It hurt because, like, people always ask me all the time, have you ever been to Israel? I say no. You know why? Because I don't want to see the gay party in Tel Aviv.
Good night.
I can't go through the city and see the condition that it's in right now.
That's right.
I don't want to see it like that. And
That's right.
When they saw the shrubs growing and they saw the altar laying there with a dead pig laying on it and all that, they started ripping their clothes and throwing dust on their head, lamenting, wailing, and crying for their city, for their land, because it was so destroyed.
That's right.
Keep reading.
Verse 40. And fell down flat to the ground upon their faces, and blew an alarm with the trumpets, and cried toward heaven. Verse 41. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress, until he had cleansed the sanctuary.
There was a couple of random stragglers running through the city. And he sent a couple of men out and said, man, go kill them.
Right.
Get them out of here.
That's right.
Because now we got to clean and purge this city.
That's right.
We got to make sure we get it back intact.
That's right.
Keep going.
Verse 42. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law.
Go ahead.
Verse 43. Who cleansed the sanctuary and bear out the defiled stones unto an unclean place.
Go ahead.
Verse 44. And when as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profane. Verse 45. They thought it best to pull it down, lest it should be a reproach to them.
You know what they said? They said, we could just wash it off. We could just wash it off and it'll be all right. They were like, no, it's swine's flesh.
That's right.
The Lord ain't no, if you didn't do the procedures right to go in the holies of holies,
good night,
you would die.
That's right.
You would die. And they would say, they thought about how serious the Lord is.
That's right.
They said, no, let's not play with this.
That's right.
Let's purify and clean this for the Lord and for our nation's sake.
Right.
Keep going.
Lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen hath defiled it.
Right, go ahead.
Therefore they pulled it down. Verse 46. And laid upon the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place, until they should come a prophet to shew what should be done with them.
Go ahead.
Verse 47. Then they took whole stones according to the law, and built a new altar according to a former. Verse 48. And made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts. Verse 49. They made also new holy vessels, and unto the temple they brought the candlestick, and the altar of burnt offering, and of incense, and the table. Verse 50. And upon the altar they burnt incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlesticks, they lit it, that they might give light to the temple.
Keep going.
Verse 51. Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table, and spread out the vials, and finished all the works which they had begun to make. Verse 50.
You know what they did? They brought it back to what it used to be. They didn't change it. They didn't say, well, it's different now. And that's what we do. We say we got to adjust to today's society. They didn't say let's adjust. They didn't say, well, let's take what they did here and put it there. They took everything that they've always done, that their fathers did from the beginning, and brought it and cleaned it and did it again. Because that's what works. You know what don't work? This new stuff.
Right.
This new way of life, this new way of trying to get, understand how to raise a family. That's why your family not staying, because it don't work. Your family not sticking together because it don't work. What works is what's in these scriptures.
Right.
A man and a woman, and y'all working together and building a nation. That's what works. Brotherhood works.
Right.
You understand? The things that this Bible talks about work. This new thing that you're trying to do, you're trying to love everybody, that don't work.
That's right.
That don't work. That gets you killed.
Make sure, yes, man.
Tells it out. Start at 52.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 52. Now, on the 5 and the 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month of Cassalu, in the 140th and 8th year, they rose up betimes in the morning. Verse 53, and offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they had made. Verse 54, look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with songs and centerings and harps and cymbals. Verse 55, then with all the people fell upon their faces, worshiping and praising God of heaven, who and giving them good success. Verse 56, and so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days and offered burnt offerings with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise. Verse 57, they decked also the forefront of the temple with the crowns of gold and with shields, and the gates and the chambers they renewed and hanged doors upon them. Verse 58, thus was their great gladness and among the people, for that the reproach of the heathen was put away. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained, and the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year, by space of 8 days, from the 5 and the 20th day of the month of Cassalu, and the myriad of gladness. And that's why we're doing this today. We're doing this right now in the remembrance of what these brothers did way back then.
That's right.
How they fought against the Greeks in odds that were not toward us.
Right.
And they won, and they got our land, and they dedicated our temple back to the Most High and our sanctuary, because they fought for the Lord in dire times.
That's right.
You understand? And those brothers need to be remembered.
That's right.
And we still remember great acts today. Right now, we got the Kentucky 8. You don't know about the Kentucky 8. You don't know about the mission to Acuna. You don't know about none of that, but we're going to remember that forever. And we're going to make sure that everybody remembers it. You know what I'm saying? You know why? Because it was something to be remembered. It was something glorious. And that's what we're going to do, man. This is a memorial that you need to remember how we went against the odds. We went against what everybody else was saying. Everybody else was saying, I'd rather live than die, so I'll just fold.
That's right.
Well, we living right now in a society where us being here is like dying.
Right.
Because everybody hates us for being here. You lose your job, your friends, your family, your loved ones. Right. You lose everything being here, and we stay here and lose it all for our King's sake.
That's right.
You understand? That's right. Finish this off.
It's the book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 4, verse 60. At that time also they built up Mount Zion with high walls and strong towers round about, lest the Gentiles should come and tread it down as they had done before.
Go ahead.
Verse 61. And they set there a garrison to keep it, and fortified Bethesura to preserve it, that the people might have a defense against Idumea.
Damn. A defense against who?
Idumea.
Y'all know who knows who Idumea is? Who is Idumea? Somebody? Lama Yah. Who is Idumea? Give him a hand. Who are we fighting? We were fighting the same people that's fighting us today.
Right.
Go ahead.
That's also the beginning of the Roman Empire.
And then right after that, it comes into the Roman Empire. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's called the Greco-Roman Empire.
That's right.
You understand? What we're trying to get you to understand in this today is that even though the odds look bad, even though they have military, even though they have all of this, we got the Lord.
That's right.
And the Lord has never lost a battle.
That's right.
And the Lord said that he raised up Pharaoh just for this purpose, so he can destroy Pharaoh.
That's right.
The Israelites didn't have big weapons and nukes to get out of Egypt. The Lord got us out of Egypt.
That's right.
The Lord killed the firstborn of the Egyptians.
Right.
And the Lord is going to destroy America.
That's right.
He is going to destroy this place for the crimes they've committed against us. We're going to be reading about nights like this in the New Testament.
That's right.
You understand? In the kingdom of heaven.
That's right.
You understand?
Yeah.
And we are doing this so that you can finally learn some of your history.
That's right.
Because you go to college and learn. You go to college and you pledge Zeta and Kappa and Phi Mu Alpha and all that. You pledge everything. And what are those called? What kind of fraternities are they? Greek fraternities.
Good night.
You are paying money to get your behind whooped to be white.
God. Brandon.
That's what you're doing. You are getting branded to say, yeah, I'm a white boy. I bark. I act like a monkey. I do all of these things because I want to show you that I'm with you. When you won't come here for free and learn that you the greatest people on the earth.
Right.
Well, we accept it, we embrace it, and we are glad to be the greatest people on the earth. Kum ya shalom! Kum ya shalom! With that, imagine.
So, we're going to turn face to east, say the Lord's Prayer. We're going to read it in Hebrew, repeat after me. Abano! Abano! Bashamayim! Bashamayim! God! I.S.U.P.K! Yahweh! Men of Israel, Shabbat, Magic, Barak, Yadmatah, Saw, courtesy salute to the sisters, Men of Israel, Shabbat, Magic, Barak, Yahyamatah. Dismissed.
All right, this is what we gonna do with the food. Anybody that want to eat, gonna start ranking order.